Renegade Elite right now.
Hello, welcome to Unveiling Africa, an award-winning TV talk show that showcases the beauty of Africa. I am your host, Kristen Daka-McCary, where we aim to bring you the very best of Africa. We will showcase the powerful people, the beautiful scenery, the interesting culture, the food, the movies, and all that makes it a beautiful, unique continent. We also aim to show our similarities rather than our differences, and also to unveil the hidden treasures of the motherland, Africa. Sit back and enjoy this beautiful show that's titillating, mesmerizing, and oh so interesting. Enjoy. We have in our midst today Mr. Insikak Okosi. He is from Nigeria, but not just anybody. This man is a phenomenal man. He is a man with many hats and does not only share these many hats with others, but has a passion for life to make sure he brings the very best of all of us, brings out the very best of all of us. Let us welcome Mr. Insikak Okosi. Welcome, sir.
Thank you very much.
Very, very happy to have you on my show.
Thank you very much. Very generous of you.
I have spoken to you so many times. I have met you in places that, you bring inspiration to, and you are just one phenomenal man. Let us go in and talk about this very important personality in my books, and I'm sure in your books at the end of this show. This man is a doctoral candidate. He is an adjunct professor at West Point. Yes, West Point, the prestigious citadel for military schooling in America. One of the topmost schools for military academics here in America. I am so delighted to have him in our presence because he not only shares his passion for teaching, but also wants to encourage and uplift and entertain us and invite us to this prestigious citadel. He is also a specialist in nuclear science and technology, in radiation protection, in health physics, in dosimetry, in biophysics, in biostatics, in, biomapping? Bioimaging, and also MRI and functional MRI. I tell you, by the end of today's interview, we'll all be specialists too, because that's who he is. He makes us be the best at what we are. Okay, without much further ado, we're going to introduce, get to know more about Mr. Okosi. Insikak, can you tell us more about that name and where you come from in Nigeria?
Thank you very much for having me in your show. As you have rightly mentioned, my name is Insikak Abasibumiyong Okosi.
Whoa!
So that's a 21-letter long name. And so traveling from country to country in a quest for knowledge, you interface with a lot of electronic portal. You have to type in your name, and most of these portals just don't have the room for 21 letters. And so very quickly I realized that the computer systems in Europe, in America, wherever you have traveled to, cuts my name in such a way that it doesn't make me have the meaning anymore. So I had to decide to shorten it to 6 or to 3 in most of the cases. Okay. That's why I ended up with Insikak Okosi. Okay. But the Insikak actually is a 21-letter long name, which was given to me by my grandmother. Oh. And I grew up to understand that the name itself is a question. It says, what is difficult? Oh. That's what you know at first value. Wow. But when you look at it deeply, it's actually saying, what is difficult to God? If your name is a question, you have to wonder what is the answer. And I keep telling people, I say, guess what? I'm the answer to my name.
Yes, you are.
Because when you say, what is difficult to God, I would tell you that nothing is difficult to God.
I love that.
Yeah, if I could come from the cradles of Africa, I tell people from the jungles of Africa, as people put it, to attain this height of academic achievement, I think everything is possible with God on your side.
Yeah, I think so. And that's what it means. Nothing is impossible.
Well, the name itself is a question. What is difficult to God? And I tell you, nothing is in. So that's the basis for the name.
Yeah. So where do you come from in Nigeria? Can you please tell us a little bit about that?
Yes, I come from a southeastern state called Akwa Ibom. It's one of the newly created states, I think probably 15 or 20 years old.
Right.
It's an oil-rich enclave of Nigeria, very rich in oil. We have Shell and Mobil oil installations in the area. In fact, you could stand and see gas flying from my backyard back in the mansion that my father built.
Yeah.
So we do have these natural resources, and unfortunately, big corporation always comes in and take the natural resources. So I hardly can attest to what has become the fortunes that were given to us by nature. But I come from a state called Akwa Ibom in Nigeria, and my local government, like the county, is called Etinan, and a little village I was born is called Ikot Eba, and I hope that someone from Ikot Eba may be listening to one of its own today.
Amen. I hope so. So they'll know that we put you on the map in the world.
Yes.
Okay. Now I see you have a staff in your hand, and I know in African tradition it does not mean, it's not just any staff, it means something. Tell us a little bit about that.
I come from a family of 11 children, and I was the baby of the house.
Wow.
And so typically the transition of authority the staff of chieftain could be on you. You could become the next president of the country, and you could become a senator.
Yes.
You would not tell people, oh, I cannot do mathematics because I didn't know it in school. If the job of a senator requires for you to do simple mathematics, guess what?
You gotta do
Too
it.
bad for you. You got to do it now, whether you like it or not.
And I like that. And that puts us right in sync with what you specialize in.
Yeah.
Now, at West Point, you specialize in quantum physics?
Well, at West Point, quantum physics is just one of the areas of physics specialty.
Yes.
Mainly, we are talking about classical laws or classical phenomenon, which is very simple things that you and I might know. The light bulb glows, an object hits one object and makes it to move. Those are principles of momentum.
Right.
But when we are talking about other things that typically looks magical, so we could look at those phenomena and realize that these are quantum phenomena. For instance, you could be talking about formation of a plasma where you have electrical charges jumping through air, and that is not typically what we are accustomed to.
Yeah.
We are accustomed to charges flowing through wires.
Yes.
Yeah, you want to see the connection.
Yes.
If you don't see the connection of wire from one pole to another, and yet you see charges jumping, it looks magical. And so in physics we don't call that magic, we know that those are quantum phenomena. So that's an area of specialty that indeed we could be able to explain that to the cadets about quantum phenomena, and we've seen a lot of application in everyday life. We have something like electromagnetic induction. Today we are talking about charging your cell phone wirelessly.
Yes.
We are also talking about induction stoves, where the actual stove is not hot, but the pot is hot.
Yeah.
So those are quantum phenomena. I have nothing to do with that. I'm not an inventor of the phenomenon, but it's very exciting that you are in the field that actually, you are in the field that actually offers explanation to some of these phenomenon. And we try to run away from the magic word or from the, well, we say God made it to happen, so probably God actually made that to happen. I'm going to take you very quickly to the next demonstration point and show you the technology of wireless cell phone charging. This is this induction. You would see this ring move on its own. So I have put that on, turned this machine on, and look at that. It's all on its own. there is no connection. There is no more power. It's able to float just by induction. Well, we don't know really what that means because that's a display of force, but I can show you what it really means at using a different device. This is another device that is to capture what just happened. Let's see what it captures. Turn that on, and the light bulbs comes on. Yeah. You could lift the bulb up. It's free. It's not connected to any device. If you actually have this wire connected to your phone, you can just place your phone here and it would be charged. You don't have to plug it in. I could connect this to your phone, and then when I put it on just like that, it will charge. It's already in the market. It's called wireless charging. If you go to Google, wireless charging.
How is it wireless?
There is no wires to the source of electricity.
Okay.
Yeah, you just place your phone on the pad. The pad looks like that. You place it and it charges. Because you can see that by placing this on top of that, there is electric current induced. Not only that, we also have what we call induction stove. The stove is very cool. Like that is cool, but this ring is very hot. If you touch this ring, somebody is going to touch the ring. So when you turn this on, the stove induces heat in the pot. The pot cooks your soup. Yeah. But immediately you remove the pot, a cat can walk on top of the stove and it is cool. Yeah. It's called induction cooking. Yeah. The stove is already in the market. Yes. This device was invented in early 1900s, but it is being applied now industrially, commercially, for the benefit of mankind. Yeah. Tesla, due to new thinking. So, but we demo this in the lab for kids to see and be inspired and think and invent even more. So I'm delighted to be associated with this sort of science here at West Point, and to make sure that kids around the world know that it is possible. Again, remember that my slogan is, if I can do it, you can do it. If I can come from the remote deserts of Africa, you can surely do it. This is the new one we got. This one is exactly, that is the ring. That is the force. It was small on that, but in this one it is pretty elaborate. Yeah, and this is the light bulb. It was very difficult to find this bulb from the company. I bought about 42 of these bulbs to be able to demo for the kids, but hey, light on, no connection, go right in, induction. Yeah, and if I connect this to the stove, this would be the pot. It would cook your soup. Yeah, by principle of induction only. Welcome to science.
That's quantum physics, which I'm glad you explained in a very simple manner, because I would never have understood it any other way. What else can you tell us about your specialization?
Well,
and now, go ahead, explain to me what else you...
Well, I studied regular physics in college, just like any aspiring scientist would. And going up to specialize, the first opportunity I had in specialization was in radiation physics. And that was in a university in Germany in 1994. Justus Liebig University in Gießen. That is 45 minutes away from Frankfurt. So I flew into Germany and learned the German language and started studying radiation physics. And
kidding.
My first samples were sent to space through a NASA project in 1995. Unbelievable.
I told you we're talking about phenomenal, man.
Yeah, and this was the study radiation field in space. I still have the analysis of the samples that went on there. It was a NASA-sponsored project. I have cited it in my resume many, many times. So I can gladly tell you that as late as 1995, I had a good level of competence and understanding on studying radiation field, and would qualify to be referred to as a specialist in radiation sciences. Well, when I came in here to the United States, I have gone into areas of radiation protection, both at Kansas State University in Manhattan, and also at Boston University School of Medicine. I have worked in fluoroscopy, trying to offer protection to patients on clinical applications of that radiation source, ionizing radiation source. And I have also ventured into imaging science, bioimaging science, which brings a lot of talents in biostatistics, statistics application to biomedicine. So these are areas of very great concentration in terms of research and study that I have developed competence in, and I feel very comfortable to discuss those with any level of authority.
And that's just the beginning.
Yeah.
We'll be right back. What is Africa's newest country? We just recently acquired a new country in Africa. The answer when we return. What is Africa's newest country? The answer to that question was South Sudan. Welcome back, and we're here with the very fantastic man of the physics world, Mr. Nsikak Okosi. He's going to tell us more about his influence here at West Point, and to tell us what he's doing with his passion, with his love for teaching and in physics, in the physics world, to others who are less privileged or others who would never have dreamt of being in such an establishment. So, Mr. Nsikak, tell us about how at West Point you have been able to motivate and invite others that would never have dreamt to be there. Give us a brief summary about that.
Yes, I think that it is the goal at West Point to be able to invite and bring all calibers of American citizens to develop them as leaders of character. That's the goal of the institution. Yes. It's one thing to have a goal, and it's another thing to deliver on the goals. So I think it is a lot of outreach programs ongoing to try to make sure that the goal itself is known by members of the public. Yeah. It is very clear that it is through West Point that we have very great leaders here in America.
Very true.
As I have mentioned, it is an institution that develops future American leaders
yes,
in character and also academically, intellectually. Yeah. So as one of my goals, everywhere I go, especially to the African community.
Yes.
Those of us who have come in here and we have been able to have children of our own who are truly Americans, and we know that they do have the calling to be future leaders, either here or globally. It is to make sure that their parents understand that their children could qualify to be at West Point, and to explore that possibility. Since West Point is a military institution, everybody associates it with having a barrel of gun, which yes, you would have a barrel of gun and learn how to fire your weapons, but also you must recognize that you would be able to develop yourself intellectually and in leadership. These are the core concentration areas, and that clarification really needs to be made to parents who are so crucial in the decisions that their children would have to make.
Yes.
And I do champion making that known to parents of African descent, of African children who have come in here.
Thank you so
and
very
much. And would want to channel the interests of their children into that leadership position, so that we would not run short of leaders as we go, as we age in this wonderful country.
All right, now Mr. Okosi, tell us a little bit more about your work here at West Point and how you've used your influence to get our people into West Point.
First of all, thank you very much for coming out here on Saturday afternoon to document some of the activities we have here, which is a backdrop to some of the stories we are trying to chronicle. I came here to West Point from the United States Naval Academy in Annapolis, and then I used to work there as a physical science associate supporting the operations of PLIP laboratory in chemistry. And then I came here in July of 2013 to resume work here at the physics Department of Physics and Nuclear Engineering, United States Military Academy, also as a physical science associate supporting about 18 laboratories in core physics programs. I'm actually designated as an assistant instructor in laboratory physics, which means that if one of our rotating faculties is not here, I would be able to take up that class and deliver the instructions as swift as would be required by my department. As I mentioned to you earlier, I also teach also adjunct faculty in many other colleges. This is a Northern Virginia Community College logo. You can see this is a faculty ID card. I also teach for Diablo Valley Community College in California. I used to actually go to brick and mortar and teach in these schools. Now I'm teaching online. My classes are quite robust and quite full during this summer. So a man of many hats or a man of many lanyards, I do the best to make sure that I support instructions and academic development, both for the upcoming American youths and also for children of parents from Africa.
So tell us a little bit more about how our people, the African indigents, can get a foothold into this very prestigious citadel.
Yes, we do have opportunities for people of minority to be able to become officers graduating from West Point. That is the watchword from the superintendent, I believe, and I think it's the policy that has been adopted by West Point. And in my own little way, I try to disseminate that message to parents of children from African descent, to tell them that West Point is within reach, and also to bring them to the grounds of West Point for a tour. There is a visitor's tour organized by the city of Highland Falls, and these parents can come on board and take a tour to just enjoy the historic nature of the place. And once you get to know what you have in stock, you can now redirect the energy and focus of your children and your pupil to plan in becoming officers and future leaders trained here at the grounds of West Point. So it is within reach, and it is also the policy of this institution to bring in diversity into the population of officers that are trained here.
I bet you didn't know that we could do this. I bet you didn't know that this was possible. But with people like Mr. Okosi on the grounds here of such a beautiful school, we have opportunities. African children or children of African descent can have an opportunity here and do very well and become great leaders. Tell me, how would you start to begin your process into being a part of this family?
First of all, a parent has to take a look at what we have, as I have mentioned. Take a tour of the grounds.
True.
After that, you would have to inspire your child that this is a possibility. And then if that is the case, you would have to make an exploration with the admission committees to find out what the requirements for entry would be. Typically, you have to be nominated by either a congressman or probably a senator, which should be a senator in your own district or a congressman in your own district. And once you have that nomination from two individuals, you are on your way to becoming an American leader.
Oh, wow.
And we catch them young and graduate them young. And they just grow up in 4 years, and you would not be able to behold the wonderful contribution a child can make going through the outstanding academic and military training that abound here.
Now, in your line of work here, have you come across any children of African descent, and how have they been assimilated into this process?
Oh, I have seen various children from the minority race here in the United States. I have seen a lot of other cadets who are actually out of state. They are not from the United States, but the American government has made it a policy to train a couple of these children from other countries to give them the American standard education. In fact, I have seen two Nigerian cadets, two Nigerian children who are receiving 4-year training here as a contribution of American government to support leadership development in the Nigerian military. And that is very outstanding a policy. I know that there are a spectrum of opportunity there, but if you do not know that this sort of academic institution, military institution, leadership institution exists, I don't think you would be able to inspire your child to have a dream of graduating from here. And that's the message I'm trying to take to inner city youths.
Yes, and this is why we're here today. Unveiling Africa brings this knowledge of information to you, this loads of unique opportunities that we do not ready to get out there. Tell me, how have you been treated here, and how are the children treated here?
The cadets are wonderfully treated. They are well cared for. It's a very extended tradition that has not changed in a very long time. So they would be able to receive that type of training that those that came before them received.
Okay.
And in terms of the working climate, it's a federal institution. You are in the federal civil service, and you are accorded the same treatment that every other employee is accorded. The heads of departments and the deans, and especially the current superintendent really wants to make sure that the working climate is very conducive and permits thoughtfulness. And I think that we always have a chance to be better. And I do see the great prospect for workers from minority tribes being able to aspire and find a good footing here at West Point.
Very true, very
Yes,
true.
yes.
And it's so critical because we need very good leaders for Africa. You know, one of our very dying, I would say the dying breed in Africa is leadership.
Yes,
you know, we
yes.
need some burst of fresh air,
Yes.
some burst of energy, and some burst of intelligence,
Yes.
so that we can lead generations, future generations into the next century. You know, the 22nd century. If you
That's
ask me.
correct. Yeah, that's correct. If you take a look at what has happened with the current presidency in the United States, Obama's father was actually from Kenya.
Exactly.
And President Obama had no idea that he would be called to lead.
Exactly.
So if there was any kind of outrage, to be able to tell him in a small whisper, get yourself prepared, you would be leading America. That would have been fantastic.
Yeah,
but even when that did not happen, you could see the charm of this young man following in the footsteps of his dad, according to his book,
Right.
and the audacity of hope
Yes.
that has propelled him to provide such a wonderful leadership
Yes.
as a very first black president of the country. And
yes.
we are expecting more and more possibility for that, but we need to do more work in preparing our young ones to actually be trained in that leadership positions before they see themselves in the White House.
And I know this because you really go out of your way to look for these children and these parents to come into this to West Point
Yes.
grounds,
Yes.
which is such a beautiful, beautiful, beautiful scenery and imagery of Western civilization.
Yes.
So how do you go about it? Where do you go looking for these people?
Well, there
How
are
do you go looking for these people?
there are African outlets. For instance, there is African store Amazing Grace in Poughkeepsie that people hang out on Fridays and on weekends. I try to frequent those places.
Okay.
There are African conventions, tribal conventions that go in. I try to frequent those places and introduce myself to parents and ask them anytime they come to New York, they should get in touch with me and I can register them to take a historic tour of West Point. I think the city of Highland Falls offers official tour for West Point. You can go there as a visitor and be able to tour the grounds.
Right.
I think they say seeing is believing.
Yes,
So
yes,
I
and
invite most African parents to bring their children, register to tour the grounds of West Point and get to see the wonderful architecture that is available there and the very rich history of American leadership.
Right.
And once you get to see that, I think that would spur some inspiration in your young ones, and they would wish that they can receive the training that could usher them to become wonderful leaders of this great country.
I wish you all the very best, and you really captured what I do here.
Yes.
You know, taking this to the next step, uplifting, empowering,
Yes.
and making people be the best, the very best that they are. This is what we do to bring the very best and excellence to our people and share it among the people that we have adopted as brothers and sisters. So thank you very much, and I wish you continued success. And I wish you, we'll talk more about your passion, your teaching abilities, and what you have more in store to do for not just for yourself, but for the African community and for Africa itself. You are just one phenomenal man.
Thank you very much.
I keep saying that.
Thank you.
And keep on doing the great work that you do. We really thank you and encourage you to do more. Nice to have you here.
My pleasure.
Can Bosley regrow your hair?
This is my own growing hair that I can comb, cut, style, do whatever I want with it.
The results I've achieved have been exceptional. This is my real hair. I can do with it whatever I want. This is mine.
Bosley gave me my hair back. I cut this hair. I wash this hair. I mess this hair up if I want to mess this hair up.
I can't explain to you the way that it made me feel to be able to wear my hair down, go out on a date, and have confidence again.
Can Bosley regrow your hair?
This is my hair. This is my hair.
Call or go online for your free, no-obligation self-evaluation kit. Plus, call in the next 6 minutes, and we'll even send you this $250 gift certificate. The information is free, so choose to grow back your own real hair. Choose Bosley. Call now.